Hello guys, it's NoFragLimit here from Octagon again. Today I will be playing another round of Mangera's Fall online tournament event with my Shadowsun Warlord, and I'll be playing against Andrew Dunham from Canada. I never played with Andrew before. I heard he's a pretty good player. I checked his stats. He won 3 out of 4 games so far, so pretty amazing score. From what I see on Facebook as well, he's doing a lot of live events, so I'm pretty sure I have the experienced player here in front of me. The reason why I'm playing the Shadowsun is basically I did modify this deck this morning. I added a few new Epocha cards, which are really well fitted for the Shadowsun, for the Warlord with a lot of attachments. And from what you see already, Aonia, that's the Warlord my opponent will be playing today. So Eldars, new Warlord, very interesting. When the unit control at this planet is chosen as defender, declare another eligible unit as the defender instead, if able. So, in other words, he basically redirecting my fire to elsewhere. The way you're supposed to play against this Warlord is simple. You basically are targeting the opposite unit you intend to hit. So, the Warlord ability, which is a forced reaction, forced him to move it back to your initial target. And as you see on my hand, I have a Commander Bravestorm. This unit allows me to draw a card after attaching a non-drone attachment. Really good starting hand. Well, maybe not a hand, but this unit is a really good starting point if every hand, and that's actually the new addition I just added in, and I think it's a really brilliant unit, well fitted for the Shadowsun especially. My opponent decides to mulligan his hand. I'm still thinking about it. I have 2 copies of Shadowsun Stealth Cadre. I've got 2 copies of Auxiliary Armor, Iron Rifle, and Sword Enclave, the cost reducer for non-tower units. This deck is built with a load of Space Marine units, as you've probably seen in the previous video. Did modify a few of them as well, mainly the elites, 5 costs, which are now free if that support is in play. So it's good to have it on the beginning. But I'm just contemplating here, like, okay, I have a Bravestorm, I could really deploy some attachments here. What I'm missing is the Ambush Platform. Ambush Platform is the key card I'm using in this deck, and I really would like to see it here on the beginning. I will decide to mulligan as well. It's not the worst hand, but I could have a little bit better. I will take a risk. The Bravestorm is the only card I would like to keep, but, well, life's not perfect, so it will never be. And I wouldn't like to place those Stealth Cadre cards as a units, and with that layout, I will be forced to. So, yeah. And as you see on the board as well, there's 5 planets, and each one of them have a green green icon. So it will be a very interesting game. Maybe even a very fast game. And I did the mulligan, and I have another 2 copies of Auxiliary Armor again. This time 1 copy of Stealth Cadre, Iron Rifle, Command Link Drone, the signature attachment, which is really good, and Viola Marksman, Fire Drake Terminators. I remember I said this hand probably is the worse than the previous one, but when I'm thinking about that right now, it's actually better. It's because, first of all, I have a lot of shields here. I have 7 resources on the start, so I can easily deploy the Fire Drake Terminators, the Viola Marksman, and the Iron Rifle, and the Command Link Drone. So I'm deploying 4 cards, 2 units straight away, and obviously from the Warlord ability, I'm able to plug another attachment, so not really a bad start at all. Looking quickly on the planets, the planet number 1, where you can search 8 cards for support or attachment, is really useful for me. I will try to win this planet. The second planet, moving units, third planet, adding. Okay, In total it's 5 cards, 4 resources, so it's actually a really good game. It's not dry, everything is here. It's my first move, it's my initiative, so I need to deploy first. And thinking the best deploy in this option for me will be to just add the command link drone to my warlord, so that will reveal less information about my hand to my opponent, and obviously add the 1 attack marker to my warlord. So, and the attachment can be easily moved after paying 1 resources onto another unit. So yeah, I think that's the best play. Eldritch Council support, which allows to draw a card after deploying the unit. Good starting point. Doesn't say really much to me as well. Now I definitely need to put in game both units, the Fire Drake Terminators and the Vile Marksman. It's just the way how I'm going to do it. It's my initiative, so the first planet, Foundry, is really important for me. I think with the ranged unit I could really take advantage of the first hit, and then applying the second hit after ranged. So I think the most reasonable play here is to place the Vile Marksman and use the advantage of the initiative in the first round with the ranged unit. The way I can play it, definitely I can put the Iron Rifle on him, and if I will go there with the Shadowsun, I can attach the Stealth Cadre, which will basically boost his unit to 6/4, which is really great for the ranged unit anyway. So yeah, it's very dangerous for my opponent, but let's see what he will play. I'm basically saving my Fire Drake Terminators for the end as the last move. As a unit with 2 command icons, I can really steal the command of one of the planets. Okay, so my opponent decides to deploy the built-in Guardians, 2 command units, really popular with the Elder decks, really good. He deploys that on plan number 3 and decides to launch the Eldritch Council support. Well, it seems like a waste for 1 cost unit, and especially that my opponent doesn't have less cards than me. It will be just the possibility of moving that 1 single card into the bottom of the deck, which doesn't really do nothing. So I'm kind of highlighting my surprise in the chat, and my opponent realised that it's not worth it. That's interesting. So he's probably struggling for the units. He really wants to draw some cards here. He mentioned before that his hand is actually worse than the first before the mulligan. So let's see. You can never be sure. So the next card I definitely to flag here to kind of continue with my line is to attach the Iron Rifle to the Vile Marksman. Give him another free attack. So in this moment, I'm basically saying this is the starting point. I most probably gonna go with the Shadowsun here. As you know, my Warlord ability can help a lot. So I think my opponent, before deploying any units here, he needs to really take into account that all math and all my attacks before he will be able to strike. So I do that very often. I think I said that on the previous video as well when I've made a Ragnar. I kind of playing the line, acting quite a lot with my deploy, trying to scare off the opponents from certain planets to maximize my gain, my income. So my opponent decides to play the Rogue Pirate, another cheap economy unit, which adds the 1 card draw to the bonus of the planet. I wish to see him. would be actually cool if he could deploy it on plan number 5. I would really like to control the last planet here with the 2 resources. I think this money, it will be very important for me, as I will drain myself to 0 in a second buying those Terminators. Yes, and he does. So he's moving to planet number 5. Okay. It kind of seems like a waste to move this fire drake onto the last planet, because you're kind of losing all his fighting potential, just putting him to control the economy planet there in the end. You switching him off from all the fights, and my opponent with 5 resources, 4 cards, can still really take the advantage on the first planet. But I really need to gain that economy here. So he's probably have another 1 or 2 units, and he can control 4 planets here easily in this game. So I will prevent at least one of them. Let's see. I don't like to play this way, but really I need to here. Especially that the second planet as well is the planet where you can actually decide to force your opponent to move the unit and move your unit as well, triggering the planet ability. I could potentially think about bringing this Terminator back at some point to the closest planet here, 2nd and 3rd, at some point of the game. To really kind of involve him into the whole fight. So it's not an entirely a waste as it looks right now. I hope so. We'll see. Not sure my opponent is thinking here about his next move. And he decides to pass. Wow. So really, there's no units in his hand. I'm really lucky, because he could easily kind of dominate the command and all of those planets here. Okay. So now I can think of it. If he only have his warlord and he tend to go for plan number 1, I have 2 double shields, which I could really use to just prevent all this damage and try to strike him to at least 2 to 3 times. So I have a real chance by winning the first planet with only the marksman itself. I can really think about moving the Shadowsun somewhere else. And the last planet number 5, it looks even more interesting for me. First of all, if he intends to go there, I will block his economy. Second, even if not, I will kill this rogue, the pirate, and possibly even exhausted gardens. And well, from the warlord ability, I will add the attachment. So I'm going to go for plan number 5. And if my opponent is going to go for plan number 1, I will attach the stealth cadre to the Terminators to keep both shields for fight. If not, then I will just put auxiliary armor on the Terminator. Let's see. So he decides to go for number 4. Okay. Interesting, because I thought he don't have really a unit in his hand. Okay. I'm triggering the warlord ability, the reaction, and as I said, he didn't go for number 1, so I will use one of those armors to put on the fire drake and add 2 attacks, 1 HP, 1 command, which is really great. Those auxiliary armors, they're working really well, boosting the command icons as well, so it's really great. The warlord ability of the Shadowsun obviously is fantastic. I think I have something around 14 to 15 attachments in this deck, so half of the deck are only the attachments, so I hope to see the really good, great build and powerful units. I hate playing with them against Chaos, the strip card, destroying all the attachments in the game. That's just heartbreaking for me. Okay, so I have 2 resources, 1 card, and and I'm getting the Commander Bravestorm, the unit I wish to keep from the first hand before the mulligan. So really good for me. I love to see this unit, especially that I never played it before. So I finally have a chance to test it in my play. And he's really supporting the draws every time we're adding the attachment, the non-drone attachment on the planet. So with my Terminator now controlling the resource planet, and the Bravestorm kind of providing me additional cards, I can really take advantage here. So my opponent have no actions on planet number 1, which is good. Really cool. I was really kind of expecting here to see some tricks, ambush, I don't know, anything. So now I can try to draw, and I really wish to get only 1 card here, my favorite support. So let's see how it's going to be. Support or attachment, yeah. Worst case scenario, attachment. I don't believe I'm going to miss both. And there you go, 2 ambush platforms. So really cool. Couple good cards, skipping away, but that's the one I was hoping for. Ambush platform, reducing the cost of every attachment by 1, and allowing you to put one of those attachments in a combat phase, reducing the cost itself at the same time. So great start. Okay, my opponent takes the turn on the plan number 4. I'm not contesting it. I don't really have anything to kind of go and challenge him there anyway. Wonder what he's going to deploy. Is it going to be the plan number 5? Probably not. Probably if he'll put something in play, it'll be HQ. If you don't have any units, this is kind of misplay. He should be really going for something else. Or actually, no. If you're going to consider the options, you couldn't go for plan number 1. Plan number 2 doesn't really give him much. Plan number 3. Oh, he could boost his pirates too. Okay, so he decides to put Justice. Kind of wasting the... Guard and Pillage. Okay, so he's actually getting another 3 resources, boosting himself to 9. Pretty rich boy right now. With a few cards in hand. I wonder what is this money for, because he never spent it in the first place. Then he actually added another 3. I need to really think and try to remind myself what kind of costly effects, costly units the Eldars can play there to surprise me. But I will not try to overthink it. This is kind of tendency I have. I'm just thinking too much sometimes, and the easiest play is the best one sometimes. So my opponent doesn't have any actions here. I will actually strike with the Warlord. Okay, so unit dies. I have no actions. My opponent does not have any actions as well. I will tap Dark Guardians. So now there is nothing that is being left from the Eldars on the command. And I'll keep my Terminators there to gain a few additional resources in the future. Now we have 3 command icons, so really, if he wants to contest it, he needs to place the Warlord there. Let's finish the first round. Really great for me. I have the Bravestorm now in hand. I have the Ambush platform in play already. I have 2 units with the attachments, and I tapped the Guardians on the plan number 2. So, really good start, I would say. Everything went according to the plan so far. I can really think about Bravestorm start building up on plan number 1. Mainly because of the effect of the planet. I'm now really aiming and thinking about this Terminator. If I will be able to win the plan number 1 and, you know, move another strong unit to plan number 2, it's a really quick win. Okay, so my opponent does decide to put the access to the Black Library, which allows him to search the deck for 2 cards with different name, reveal, and have your opponent, which is me, chooses one to add to his hand, and the other one go back to shuffle in the deck. So from what I know already, and from my experience, and it kind of confirmed all the times I said this, and I will say it again, the first card the opponent shows in this effect is the one he wants to get the most. So in this situation, I could imagine, like, if he don't have any units and have so many resources, he could dig out some powerful units here, like Striking Exarch, or I don't know, any other mobile vehicle. I don't know. He will need to look through entire his deck, and but from what I know, the first card he shows, that's the one he really wants. So I already making a kind of mental note. The first one appears, that's the one he needs to discard, and he will take the other one. Okay, my opponent spent some time thinking here. Okay, and he decides to show the Starmist Raymond, which is the signature attachment, damage assigned to Harlequin unit, control the planet, exhaust attachment to resign, damage on the warlord. Very confusing. And Phantasmatic Mask, after attack against the resource, exhausted unit to do damage to the attacker. Okay, so I'm not really actually convinced about this unit. This doesn't really seems to be very dangerous, pretty tricky, but the attachment, it confused me a lot. And that was the first card, that's what I've said. So I need to select the one he wants to keep, so yeah, let him keep the unit. I don't really want to see this attachment in play. Let him shuffle it back in the deck. Okay, so now he has some unit in his hand. It wasn't a Striking Exarch, as I thought it will be. I go in according to plan to build up this Bravestorm on plan number 1. Probably I will add most of those attachments with the cost reduction from the ambush platform to him, and draw the cards from his effect. So by doing this, I'm kind of quite gaining a lot. And if the Fire Drake will keep the domination on plan number 4, giving me some cash back, I can really kind of just go with the flow. So really good situation here. Plan number 5 now is another 2 resources. I don't really think my opponent really needs them. That's the problem now. He has 12 resources, so those planets are completely out of his interest, I believe. 4 and 5. What he needs is cards. So plan number 2, plan number 3. Well, let's see what he's going to put on plan number 1. But no, the Guardians. Okay. Are they going to go for plan number 2? Don't know. Command units. So Guardians, he had this Phantasmatic Mask. Okay. So he decides to deploy them on plan number 3. Okay. I hear you. Probably the Warlord's going to go on plan number 2. Okay, or plan number 1. 6 cards in hand. Probably a lot of units. Maybe he kept them for later. Okay, what I'm going to do, I will definitely play one of those copies of the Stealth Cadre, adding 2 and 2 with the cost reduction of 1. So, plum onto the Bravestorm. So now he's 4/6, and the Bravestorm ability allowing me to draw the card because it's a non-drone unit. It looks like a drone, but it's not. It's the soldier pilot, so really cool. What it's gonna be. Gun drones, okay, not bad. Let me just add some markers. I need to remember about them. With so many attachments, it's very important to kind of keep those markers really transparent for my opponents to remember, and for myself as well. What's the value of the attack added? The way the other players they do that, sometimes they marking the whole value of the units. The way I do it, I'm just adding the additional stats. Phantasmatic Mask. Okay, so I knew that unit's going to come. I didn't know it's going to land on planet number 1. So this is pretty much telling me where he intends to go. So he's throwing me a challenge, and he knows I'm building myself up, and he still doesn't care. Okay, so the alarm bells are kind of start ringing here. Definitely I'm thinking now that he's going to go here with his warlord. Definitely he's planning something here. The only thing I can do, well, I would like to keep those shields, but also I would like to keep the marksman alive after first round. The Phantasmatic Mask will hit for 3, the warlord will hit for 2, probably on the unit. I need to be able to shield and have some health points on this marksman to survive. If I'll be able to make him ready next round, probably he will still die before he strikes, because there's units that will concentrate the fire on him. But that's enough to pull the fire away from the Bravestorm, which will boost himself up in a second anyway. So let's pull the stealth cadre. The problem is now, I just realized, if I'm going to do it now, I will waste the Bravestorm ability of drawing the additional card. So I really need to put the auxiliary armor first on him to draw a card. Adding 2 attacks and 1 health point will end up on 8-7. Am I right? No, 6-7. So really solid unit now. And this iron rifle draw is a very beautiful, luck again for me, because that's basically a free card with the ambush platform, additional 3 attacks, and another card with the Bravestorm. Flickering Hull Suit, really good card, New Epoch edition. I love it, preventing 2 damage when it's ready, and ready himself when another damage there on the unit. Really cool. It's basically saving 2 damage from every second attack. Really cool. As I had this iron rifle, I can play it right now. So from the warlord ability, I will add the stealth cadre for 3, and I will keep the ambush platform maybe for the marker drone, which I could place on this Phantasmatic Mask from the ambush platform. I don't really know. I'll keep it for the shields. But the stealth cadre needs to be saved for the vital marksman, so iron rifle will go onto Bravestorm, and it will boost him to 9-7. Yeah, now it looks really solid. And I'm drawing a card. Finally some units, that's good. Let's just add the markers. Yeah, my opponent says, holy hell, you are big. Oh, well, I haven't finished, mate. I still have 1 resource. I could add it to even more here, Kind of thinking maybe I could play the planet to take the lead on planet number 2, and then I don't know, strike, take the hits, pull back. I'm kind of giving away the plans straight away, and he removed his phantasmatic mask straight away on my warlord. This line doesn't make any sense. I need to go for plan number 1 at all costs. There's no other option for me right now. I don't think there's any other option I could reconsider here. Yeah. You cannot give the control of such a planet to your opponent, especially when you start pulling some strong units and your warlord is about to land somewhere uncovered. Well, the Zwirer marksman is there, but he's going to be tapped, so he'll get the hit straight away. Yeah, I have no actions, and it seems like my opponent doesn't have more deploys as well, so not really scared at this point. One good unit with the attachment, but nothing really scary so far. 4 cards, 8 resources. He does have some tricks from the beginning. He never uses those cards. There's something fishy there. Something. But I don't really... This is my fault. I don't really remember the signature events or any other Harlequin cards. I'll probably need to figure it out during the game. So, as I said, I'm going for plan number 1. That's my commitment. And as I predicted, the enemy warlord lands here as well. So it's basically tying the command on the first planet. I will trigger the Shadowsun reaction ability and put the stealth cadre on my marksman to boost his attack and HP, which is more important for him to keep him alive. Yep, and I'll draw another card. Lovely. Another ambush platform. Could be useful. You never know. So the first planet is tying the commands. The second planet, nothing. The third planet for him. The fourth planet for me. So I'm getting 2 resources. He's getting 1 and the 1 card. Okay. Not really bad. The resources I may need actually to deploy all of those cards. I'll be sitting on 6, yeah. It's not bad. But I'm still wondering about my opponent's hand. He didn't actually play the Eldars Council yet. He didn't save it for anything else. He had the chance to move at least the card to bottom of his deck, which he didn't do. Yeah. But I guess it doesn't really matter with the low cost unit. Well, he have a phantasmatic mask for 2, so he could really think about something. But okay. So I have no command actions. My opponent, well, I'm waiting for his response here to see. Let's start a combat phase on plan number 1. I'm indicating I have no actions anyway, despite of whatever my opponent could play here. Those shields I will really keep for now. Gun drones, I don't really see the use of them right now. I prefer to strike with a single serious blow and wipe off the unit of my opponent. So Phantasmatic Mask decides to attack. After this attack unit is resolved, exhaust this unit to do 2 damage. After an attack against this, okay. So I'm about to shield for 2. And my opponent now indicates that Jesters doesn't allow me to shield because their reaction says that I need to reveal the hand, and I missed that. I forgot about his ability. I need to learn the Harlequins. So I need to reveal any shields, events or attachments to be able to play them during the battle, which I haven't done. So I am unable to show the strike. It's just really confusing. That's what you do. You cannot easily have it and attach cards as shields during this battle. But no, it's funny. Now one of the guys observing the game is actually saying it's not a forced reaction, and the opponent never said that he's triggering the reaction itself. So technically, it wasn't. So I couldn't have a chance to review because I didn't knew about the reaction, which does not go automatically. It needs to be announced. So in general, it wasn't played. So I can really still shield actually. But he wants to activate it anyway. Okay, I will let him. That's fine. But obviously, in a fair amount, fair play, he cancelling the attack. Okay. Slight misunderstanding here. Both of us made a mistake actually. But I missed it, so it deserves some chances here. So if my opponent is fine with it and I'm fine with it, I will reduce the damage dealt here, and that's it. So I will reveal drone. If he intends to trigger the reaction, I will reveal the drone and shield it in the end. So yeah. Funny situation, it happens sometimes, especially with the new cards. If you don't understand them or you're not familiar with them, it's very easy to make a mistake. But it's important to play with the guys like Andrew. He seems to be really cool. Both of us, we don't really taking it too serious. So yes, he's attacking. I'm shooting for 2, and yeah, life goes on. 2 other people playing a friendly game. Well, not entirely friendly as a tournament play, but it's really nice. I need to remember this, definitely. I think after this game I will look into the Harlequins more closely to try to understand what they're really all about, their trickeries and stuff. So it's my turn. I decide to go the strike with the Warlord, but it's not the best option actually, because I can imagine my opponent shielding this attack in the middle unit, and yeah, okay, I'm kind of pulling it back quickly. If he will shield it, it's going to be a wasted attack, because the next strong attack from the Brainstorm, it will probably go into the same unit. And then, yeah, you see. I really want to get rid of one of the units to start hurting the Warlord. So let's say I will try to kill off one of them, which is the Jesters. That's fine. Attack for 9, 2 health points. I don't really see anything that could stop it, so it's fine. Yep. And for now, my opponent plays a power Dance Without the End. So after a Harlequin unit enters your discard pile from the planet, return it to your hand to deploy an Harlequin unit with a different name at the same planet. So not only the unit I just killed goes back to the hand, also he's allowed now to deploy another unit during this battle. Interesting trick. And it's not a signature event, as I see, so wow, okay, alright. That's something. I knew there would be some tricks. Didn't look like he doesn't show all his firepower here. So what he will deploy here? So that was the jesters. He moved them back to his hand. That's okay. And a new unit, which needs to be in a Harlequin as well. It's a lowering troop. Ah, okay. So after you deploy the unit, move a target army unit at. Wow. Okay, that's a really good play. That's actually interesting. Well done, Andrew. So now he will use his ability. Reading again. Move a target army unit to this planet and the other planet, and at the end of the next phase, move that unit back to this planet if able. So he is actually pushing away my Brave Storm to the planet number 2. Really well played, Andrew. I'm impressed, I need to say. Now, from all the advantage I thought I have, I'm getting into trouble here. So, woo, I am. Okay. Need to think now. I don't really have any options. No really drones, shields, anything. So, pray for survival and run away. If he will concentrate fire on my Shadowsun, I can even really think about just moving this drone attachment from out of him as well. So if my opponent have another card, ambush like attack units with 3 value, I could even get myself blooded here right now. Very dangerous. And obviously he decides to attack for free for my warlord. So okay, that gives me a interesting overview. It's a risk, you know. 6 resources, 4 cards. I am baffled, a little bit scared. I decide to stay, to take a challenge here. I believe targeting this unit is the best option. You obviously need to choose another target, which hopefully will be the warlord or the lowering troop with 2 health points. Let's see if he has any shields in his hand. Maybe discarding the effects is not a really bad line. The worst effect I could achieve here. You know. Let's see. My opponent decides to move this damaged or this attack to his warlord, and he used a counter blow to add now additional damage to the Shadowsun. Well, okay, strong play. So he used his ability to trigger the counter blow and deal additional damage to the Shadowsun. Really dangerous. Now he just needs 1 additional damage to bloody my warlord after this attack. So really big chance I kind of wasted it here already. I need to think about moving this drone away immediately, or I can wait. I don't really know. Not sure. I have no actions. Do I want to watch this drone? I will keep it. I will try to survive. Okay. So my opponent decides to attack, and he attacks probably Shadowsun looks like a good target. I cannot really take this damage off him. I don't know. He thinks about it. And he decides to attack the Violet Marksman, which is good, under 2 damage. My unit will survive. Pretty bad situation for me. I have my units really wounded here. I need to get out of here as soon as possible. So if he doesn't have any other tricks. By the way, didn't Mask hit for 4? I mean, this is a bit late now. So our spectator actually is noticing more details than us. So I'm adding additional damage to my warlord because the Phantasmatic Mask have another health point from the attachment. So he in fact attacks for 4, not for 3. It's kind of discussion now if he hit the marksman of the warlord. He says warlord. Okay, so there's more and more. My opponent seems to be missing those things as well. So I guess he does not played this warlord very often. I definitely never played it before. It's very confusing. I decided to move it away straight away. Just go back. We lost it. Nice. Didn't thought it will go that way. Now the Eldars shows their trickery. So very well played. My opponent obviously triggers the ability of the planet, and what it's going to be. What it's going to be. He targets the last planets. Okay. I could really move the Fire Drake Terminator over there, because it does change nothing. It still sits on the planet controlling the 2 resources. Or I could move my marksman, who is nearly dead, to just contest under 2 resources and try to get reach. That's what I will do. Probably he wouldn't survive on the next attack anyway, on the next battle, so it would be a shame to lose him that way. At least here he can do something. So my opponent doesn't decide to move any units there, which is reasonable because the unit is ranged, so he wouldn't really like to fight with it. So that's it. That's the end of turn 2. 1-1 with the planets. I'm really just counting the green ones. There's no point of counting anything else at this point. Another 2 cards for me, White Scar Bikers and Repulsor Impact Field, one of my favorite attachments. That's a really cool card. I really like to see it. The Repulsor added to beefy units like Fire Drake Terminator. It looks really well. So Fire Drake Terminator with the Repulsor, it could actually deal 1 damage after declaring him as a defender, and 2 damage after damaging him. So straight away, without anything, Fire Drake deals 3 damage back to every unit who decides to strike under him. Really nasty. I have a Brave Storm on the plan number 1. Need to protect him, so this Fireblade unique unit will assist with ability of increasing every shield by 1 icon. And so both my units now on plan level 1 are unique. So no Doom and no Road. If my opponent is aligned with Dark Eldars and he have Arc and Terror, it will not work on those units. So that's good. 3 command icons, so not really letting him to get the advantage here. I could actually deploy gun drones now to one of my units as well. From the ambush platform, it will cost me only 1, And yeah, I don't think why not. Then, with the 3 resources left, I could really put the White Scar Bikers as well. And keep the shields in my hand, so not really bad. 10 resources, 5 cards. It's definitely something going on in my opponent's mind. He's forming some kind of plan, which I probably have no idea about. I can't even think of what he could do here. The last trick, it was pretty awesome, and I didn't expect it. If he could do possibly the same thing here right now, wow, that's a really good snowball play. So he decides to put, what's that? Blinded Princess. Force reaction: after this unit enters your play, your opponent may exhaust the unit at the planet to move this unit to that planet. So I can exhaust any unit at the planet to move it there. Interesting. Well, first time I see this card. 1 cost, 3/3. Pretty solid. It's coming exhausted. Funny enough, I'm trying to decide to exhaust himself. Any unit, so I'm targeting the Blind Princess. And now I need to go back to the comments. This is a misplay, so I am never allowed to exhaust the enemy units. So what I said here, I will exhaust the princess to keep him on the same planet and leave him exhausted. So that's a big mistake. We discussed this after the game. I remember that. And Toto the Apoca, he actually called me a communist because I paid the cost with his own resources, with his own stuff. So I kind of misplayed it very well. Funny enough, Andrew here, he kind of confused himself as well, and he just said like, what a shitty unit. Who the fuck designed that fucking thing? Yeah. First of all, it's me forgetting about the rules. Second, himself like not really knowing the units. And yeah, there's a lot of comments on the chat right now. Everyone just wonders if that's supposed to work like that. That I can choose Princess itself to exhaust it and move, or don't move, and just leave it there. Well, so obviously the whole discussion there right now is pointless. I don't have a right. I am deploying from the ambush platform. I will deploy the gun drones, but this is the drone card, so I will not really draw additional for the Bravestorm ability, but still I need to deploy it. I put it on my second unit, so he will gain the area effect too. So now I have an area effect unit and a really powerful one-hit striker. So this army is getting really dangerous. The Fireblade itself with area effect 2, I think it's more dangerous for those Harlequins because the Warlord ability will not really help them. The Fire Drake doesn't declare the defender, it just goes the area effect. So, you know, yeah, we're still discussing the whole thing of the Princess event and how to get it go. The guys are really like So my opponent decides to deploy another unit on plan number 2, and it's another copy of the Jesters. Well, I mean, it's the same card which went back from the discard with the effect, so now he's back, cursing me. This time I remember about his reaction and the shields. That's fine. So I have 3 resources left. The only thing I can do is to deploy the White Scar Bikers. I think I will put them on plan number 1 to seal the deal and to say to my opponent, this is mine, mate. This is really my planet. You are not welcomed. All these units are gonna come here tapped, exhausted, so really big advantage here. So I'll have 2 planets already, and I'm just going for 3rd right now. Really dangerous. The way I see it, I could potentially go for plan number 2. I'll be lost course. Plan number 3. I'm not really sure, but the danger is if I will lose the plan number 1, if I will lose it, that means the next planet will be the winning condition for my opponent. So the plan number 2 will be the last green icon he needs, and he already has 3 units over there. It will be very difficult for me. If I will lose the first planet somehow, I don't know how, but if I will lose it somehow, the planet number 3 will be the worst nightmare. Planet number 2 will be the worst nightmare for me to get over if I will lose my units. So I don't think I have any other options here than just going for plan number 1. And my opponent deploys. Okay, now it's a little bit strange. He deploys the Incubus Warriors onto planet number 3. I don't really see the point of doing it because my unit have a 3 command icon. So now it's kind of question, does my opponent forgot about that fact? Or is he just planning to come over here with his warlord? I would guess it's the second. I will take the risk again and I will go for plan number 3. He may be really scared about the amount of firepower in plan number 1, so let's go for 3. Because this Incubus just doesn't make sense by itself. And I marked my commands, so I was right. Okay, so he chooses to go for plan number 3, and I outrun him. I actually good. Okay, so he was setting himself for the winning condition. I trigger my warlord ability, adding this repulsor to the fire drake, and now he becomes a very nasty weapon, and I'm dominating the commands on plan number 1, plan number 2, and plan number 3 and 4. Sorry. So it's a 1 resource and 1 card for my opponent, and it's 4 resources and 2 cards for me. This time I'm scoring high, and with this repulsor field on the fire drake, it will be a nasty, and any hit done by the enemy unit will basically throw back the damage on him. So, well, I'm drawing 2 cards, and it's Iron Hand Centurion and Auxiliary Armor. So, yeah, okay, good stuff. Really good to see those cards. I'm really happy about the Iron Hands Centurion. That's one of my favorite units in this deck, and especially that all those Harlequins that are really low cost, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The Centurion ability does not allow to declare them as an attacker, declare them as an aggressor when my unit is ready. so I could potentially hold the whole army. You know, just let them wait for all of my other units to strike. So yeah. Nothing in command from me, nothing in command from my opponent, so let's go for battle plan number 1. I have no action here. My opponent does not have actions as well, so I will strike with the bikers. Let's just think for a second. I think the bikers are the best option. I can wait for anything else. If any tricks happen here, bikers will be the first target. Yep. So let's take them off. Guardian's dead. I have no actions. Not really sure if the opponent have any actions here. No, he doesn't. I triggered the planets. Maybe not this unit. Actually, I think the bikers are the best option. So I'm boosting attack and HP on that unit. And the reason why I'm doing this is simple. So the Fireblade with the area effect, dangerous. Obviously the Bravestone build, massively dangerous. Now the bikers with the boosted stats are dangerous as well. So any of those units, when they're ready, they're actually quite powerful, all of them. So I'm just keeping the differential here, and you know, kind of putting the potential even. Let's go with the next battle, plan number 3. My warlord, well, it's my initiative, so my decision first. Now, I really want them to attack the Terminator, so I will decide to play this auxiliary armor on him, adding an additional 2 attacks and 1 HP. So he will be sitting in total of 7-8 with a lot of damage returning back by his abilities. So pretty solid Terminator build. So that's cool. And my move is obviously to retreat the warlord, to avoid him bloodied, getting bloodied, because it's still not the end. If I'll get bloodied now and I will risk somewhere to get a solid strike, I could lose the game. So the best option for me is just to move him back and keep him safe, I think. The observer, the guys on the spec, they saying that after this warlord commits to plan. Okay, so I just need to slight misunderstanding. I need to basically explain that I've put this auxiliary armor from the ambush platform, not from the warlord. So, yeah. Okay. So that was my turn. Now my opponent can strike. He can choose the targets, which is the only one. The one he doesn't want to strike. Don't really know what he's going to do. He's going to pull his warlord back, but then he will kind of cross. Okay, so he decides to stay, he attacks, so I'm just reminding that my Fire Drake deals the 1 damage when he's declared as defender first. That's what he does. And I'm letting the attack to go through, and after he damaged my unit, Repulsor now adds another 2 damage onto the attacker, so it's actually quite a lot throwing back onto the enemy warlord. He seems to be a little bit surprised about that. Yeah, it's pretty mean. Now I can strike back. I really want to keep this incubus alive, to let him just hit me basically, because he will die anyway. So I don't really care about the additional damage. the way I'm gonna do this, with my attack, I will target the incubus itself, so the forced reaction from the warlord will basically force my opponent to choose another target, which is one of those Eldar units. I guess the middle one of the one with the attachment, I don't know. Let's see. Yep. Attack for 7. The other unit won't survive this. The one with the attachment won't survive the strike, so he decides to move that attack into the middle unit, the troop, and get rid of him, which seems to be a smartest choice here in this option right now. The warlord is pretty thin. The unit with the attachment is solid. He wants to keep him alive. Now the incubus warrior will attack, and I'm just wondering if he have any shields on his hand. Then he will prevent and let the attack through. But the repulsor, I'm pretty sure will finish the job, which is good. I like it. Yep. So 1 damage for declaring the defender of the fire drake. My opponent have a question. Does this hit before the attack deals damage? Nope. First declaring, so he really need to. This interruptible reaction goes before the attack. So now is the question: does he have any shields or not? If he does the shielded, he kind of wastes the shield anyways, because repulsor will finish the job. So he swallowed the damage, and he gets his units being kicked off. So okay, all right, not really bad. Terminator survived. Now we remember we made a mistake before on the previous planet. This phantasmatic mask, his attack value is 4 because of the attachment additional HP. So yeah. He decides to what he shows me here. So he decides to shield it. Okay, he decides to shield it and let the attack go through, and then the effect from the repulsor. He does move back here. Okay, I just want to check something to make sure I'm still recording, because the last time I set my software, it's been by default set to maximum 1 hour of recording, and it stopped the video. So for another 25-30 minutes I was just talking to myself, not realizing that the recording hasn't finished. So I just got panicked a little bit, and I know that it goes on, so that's fine. He decides to trigger the plan ability, tap my Vile Marksman, plan number 3, 4, that's fine. Pretty cool. Not really make any use of it anyway. So that's it. End of turn 3. I have 2 planets. He won 1 planet. And now the winning condition is the first planet or the second planet. That'll be easy. Let's see. I pulled the sniper drone and another repulsor impact field, which is great. So the way I think about it, it's simple. I have 2 options here. I could just let my opponent to build up. Okay, I need to adapt this unit. let's just move it a bit on the side. It's getting too congested now, too tight. Hinged it. Okay, he's kind of jumping like a rabbit. Okay, but he's moving the units. So the way I could do it is simple. Just strike plan number 1. Fuck it. You know, whatever's there, just killed it off. 4 cards. What could have potentially happened, right? The Warlord is pretty weak. There you go. Warlock Destructor. I asked for trouble. There it is. Don't say anything before the end of the day. Okay. Let me think. Fire Drake Terminator. Area effect. Okay. The whole thing is that Iron Hand Centurion will block all of those units. When the Iron Hands is ready, those units with the cost 2, they are not allowed to attack. So the way I can play it is to either put the Iron Hand Centurion on the plan number 1, deploy second ambush platform, and just plug this repulsor in field onto that Iron Hands for free. You know, 7 health points with the repulsor impact is still good work. You know, almost as good as Fire Drake Terminator. And the thing I love about this Iron Hands as well, this unit is elite with 3 commando icons, nice ability, and a lot of hit points. And it doesn't have a limitation like no warrior. That's why I'm keeping it in this deck. It's a very important key unit. So let's keep the options open. I'm just going to deploy the second ambush platform right now. Plan number 2 is the easy win. I'm just going to put the Iron Hands there. I will move all of the other units. Doesn't really allow my opponent to do anything because he will just land with the Warlord. And then all my units, well, first of all, the Warlord will strike, the Iron Hands will strike. Then, okay, he can kill off one of the units, but everyone will make themselves ready, and that's it, game over, easy win. But I did commit a misplay before, with first of all, with this princess. Well, I actually find out after the game as well. We assign the damage from this phantasmatic mask an additional 1 attack because of this attachment onto the Warlord instead of the Violent Marksman. So the Marksman should be actually dead. So I kind of messed up the game a little bit. So I think my opponent deserves here some I think something in return. So to keep it alive, it's a pretty awesome game so far. The Tau build I'm kind of representing here with the ambush platforms is pretty awesome. The Fire Drake builds, the Brave Storm, how it works, it's pretty powerful. I'm not being cocky here. Okay, there's another Warlord Destructor. On to plan number 2. Okay, so he just recognized right now I could really do this. I can really pull off the easy win. But I'm not going to do that. Nah, I will play the Iron Hands. On to plan number 1. There you go. Awesome ability, blocking all those low cost units. Yeah. Now he probably regrets that he put this Warlock on the plan number 2. Yeah. I'm kind think did he had any of those from the beginning? Just didn't deploy them because of the additional costs. I don't think so. He had 12, 13 resources at some point. I didn't really see him just not deploying the Warlock because of the costs. He must have drove them right now. Another card in Deep Strike on plan number 1, so pretty sure what he's going to commit right now to Defender. He's probably pretty sure about me landing here as well. It's well obvious now we both going for plan number 1. I don't really have another option. I will not deploy the attachment from the ambush platform. What is this? Masters of the Webway. After the deploy phase begins, sacrifice support to have each player exchange the command dial value. So the way I understand it, and the next round, so on the next round, whatever is the value on command dials, we will exchange them. So if I would say plan number 3, his warder will need to go for plan number 3. So in reality, if he will win the plan number 1, I could redirect this whole entire army of his to somewhere else. Well, it's not the really best time to play it, I think, but he could do the same. Wow, he could do the same. I'm cooked. I really need to win the plan number 1 now. It's interesting. I really like it. It's a cool play. I'm amazed. It's nice. Maximus says like he really would like to see this support being played the first time. I never did as well. I never saw it before, so it's kind of cool. Alright, let's go for plan number 1. That's it. I'm not changing my plans. I just need to win it now. Don't want to really leave the Iron Hands distracted there. Solo, armed even with the repulsor field, it's still two hits from Warlock Distractor and someone else, and it just dies. So it's a waste. I'm going to land here. Not like showing disrespect. Actually, I think Andrew played it really well, so he kind of deserves this battle here from me. So yeah, we both landed plan number 1. Entire army, there's no space for them. Nice build. Heavy robots with shitloads of attachments. He wins plan number 1, plan number 2 in command. I'm just getting 2 resources from planet number 3. I guess it's good. I may need them next round if I'm gonna lose the battle. Let's kind of do the math. So he's got 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 attack values in those units. Well, my health points are really double of that. Okay, so he's getting 3 resources, 1 card. So I kind of like it. So he stays very high on the resources for the whole game, really low on the cards. So there's not too many potential tricks he may have in his hand, which is cool. I kind of feel confident about my play. If he has 1 trick, yeah, probably he will play it. I'm kind of indicating now I haven't took the bonus from the command so far, so I intend to play the Warlord ability reaction even if my opponent draw the cards and the resources from his command. Already I want to put the repulsor impact field onto the Iron Hands. I could try to think about something else, but I think the Iron Hands is the best option, so let's make a space here. Yep. There you go. So now it's another nasty unit, and the Bravestorm will allow me to draw additional card. And whoa, Stealth Cadre. I guess this. I'm not gonna get 2 resources, but I have 2 ambush platforms. So you know what? This is perfect. I will still deploy this Stealth Cadre onto something which can survive. It's getting nastier, and my opponent just says he hates this card, he hates the repulsor impact. Well, I would say the Eldars who redirect the attacks made to hate it. Yeah, well, I can imagine. On the very big, beefy units, it does the job. It's one of my favorite builds. Iron Hands, it was the latest changed unit before I kind of thought about the Bravestorm here anyway, but it's perfect. It works beautiful. And the fact that the Centurion here is holding those 2 cost units as he's ready, they cannot attack. It does really do a lot of job anyway by himself. He's able to win this game. Okay, so he just deep strike his card. Each unit win the planet costs 3 or higher. This planet gets -1 attack. Okay, so now you go. There you see the reason why my opponent have so low costly units, only 1-2-1-2, because of this tactic. -1 attack for all the over 3 or over 3, so solid. And now he reminds me about the Jesters to reveal the cards, but I have no shields, so yep. So all my units are basically -1 attack, all except the Warlord. Okay. But it works against him, as all of those 2 cost units are blocked by the Iron Hand Centurion. So it's kind of funny. It is. I don't really need any more support in this battle. He has no action, so I will deploy the Stealth Cadre attachment here again, and I will put it on the Fire Drake. He really needs those 2 additional health points here to stay on. I think what it's going to be now, 4. So he's going to be on 10 with 5 damage. He needs an additional 5 to take him away, so that means the Warlock Destructor is not going to be able to take him down in 1 hit, and he will take those 3 damages back into separate attacks. So really good. The best move I could do here, I think, the Stealth Cadre on the Terminator. Yeah. And obviously the Bravestorm ability, which allows me to pull another card. Ooh, for the Talva. Finally. I was waiting for it. It could be played right now if I would have those 2 resources. Hello. That'll be so funny. That'll be like hyper combo, but luckily for my opponent, he exhausted the marksman, who should be dead, by the way. So yeah, it's good. It doesn't really change the game, I believe. Okay, so what we got here, Voltron, Maximus says. Yeah, they are all packed up, pretty energetic, I would say. I'm kind of laughing here because this is the ideal scenario I kind of dreamed for the Shadowsun, to have the area effect, those repulsor impacts on the fire dregs, and Iron Hand Centurion assisting everyone. Command Bravestorm Rhino Commander is just beautiful. Here we go. Let's start a fight. I said something like didn't show any respect by landing here to Elder Forces Gathering Plan number 1, and D-Side called me a racist. Well, I used to hate Eldars, so I'm not offended by being called a racist. I still hate Eldars. I remember the old times when they dominated the game, and I believe they deserve some solid beating today, and that's what they're going to receive in this planet in the second. So, oh yeah, okay. There's a lot of Elder lovers here on the chat right now. Let's quiet them down, yeah. See what we can do. So he decides to attack with the Warlord, and I'm shielding the attack with the Torva I've pulled. And this side noticed again. Didn't you say no shields a second ago? Yeah, no shields. So it's interesting because on the time when the reaction from Jesters was announced, I couldn't reveal the card because it wasn't there. I just drawed it after adding the attachment from the ambush platform. So my question is now, can I add it? Can I shield it? Do I have a chance to reveal it after the draw at least, and then have a chance to use it as a shield? I don't really know. It's a good question for the Apoca team. Both of my spectators and the opponent, they say I shouldn't be able to use the card, so I will go with the Judgment. Is the Democracy 3 versus 1? I really I made a mistake before already, I believe, so yeah, I will go with that. I will take the shield back and my Warlord will be blooded. That's fine. I guess I deserve that. It's a really interesting insight into the Jesters, how this reaction works, and shields using during this battle. So the question still is, do I have a chance to reveal the card after drawing it from the ability like Bravestorm? I don't know. Let's kind of leave it for later on after the game. Alright. So I have no actions, and my opponent plays again a Lost in the Webway. So switch the location of 2 Harlequin units you control on your opponent. So he moves the Guardians. What? And moves the Phantasmatic Mask. It's not really a Harlequin. I don't get it. So, oh yeah, okay, already. Someone mentioned it on the forum, on the chat. So, nope, he cannot move it. So he needs to take another Harlequin unit instead of the Guardian. So he decides to pull the Warlord after the attack. Wow. It actually came out as a really good move, a really well played trick. I'm impressed right now. Andrew, the way he did it is really cool. Wow. So he attacked with the Warlord, and then he decided to to take him back. Obviously the ability of the Warlord, it doesn't apply anymore, so I can start targeting the units directly, making it a little bit more easier for myself. But I guess if I will bloody the Warlord, that will be it anyway. So not really sure if that's the well, by the value of the attack, yeah, it's the best play. By the keeping the ability alive, not really sure. But I guess he really needs to kill this area effect off anyway. So before that will happen, I don't know, probably he did some solid math which I haven't done. So let's attack with the Iron Hands for 2, because it's a attack value reduced by 1, as you remember, by the Deep Strike effect. So attack for 2. 1 card in my opponent's hand is a shield. It's not. So okay, the unit dies. It's cool. Alright. He decides to attack with Princess for 3. And he attacks my Fireblade on the area effect. And as we agreed already, I cannot shield that. So unfortunately, the Fireblade will need to do bye-bye. That's sad. That was probably the most dangerous unit I could use here. So yeah. So I just asked, does the curse from behind the grave, it still works when the unit which triggered the ability with no shields being used, blah blah. Yeah, it does still apply until end of the battle. So yeah, my Fireblade dies. That's fine. Okay, still got 3 hits before I will make myself ready. Doesn't really look so good as it looked on the beginning. So he's targeting my Bravestorm, attacking it for 4. And I guess the next strike will be with the Warlock Destructor on the same unit, so he will die. And shit. Yeah. So that's what's happening right now. He's attacking my Bravestorm, killing it totally. Shit. Need to take a deck, and I'm left with 3 units and still got 1 attack. Interesting. But actually the way, no, okay, I'm kind of panicking a little bit here. It's under the fire, first impression. So as soon as the Iron Hands will make himself ready, all of those units are going to be unable to attack. That means I will have advantage in the next round, and the Bikers and the Fire Drake, they will attack first and then the Iron Hands, so I will actually be able to move and do 3 attacks before he will even start firing. So I think there is nothing else the opponent can do. He cannot really target now with the Guardians, either the Iron Hands or the Drakes. Yeah. Should he really target the Iron Hands instead of the Bravestorm? Is a question. It would really help him. Probably not. Probably it will kill him off. Anyway. So he decides to attack, obviously here. It's fine. Well, he could deal full damage, prevent, well, 1. It's a forced reaction on the attachment, so attachment will tap. No. No. I don't think he could really do it differently. My units, they are attacking with reduced attack value by 1, so the White Scar Bikers for 2, no, for 4, sorry, the Centurion for 3, Sky Bikers for 3, and Fire Drake for 8. So let's go with it. First attack, Fire Drake Terminator onto the Warlock Destructor. The reason why I'm kind of thinking, what is the last card? He never used it as a shield. Is it the Harlequin swapping thing? I don't really know. Let's put the free attack value onto Warlock Destructor. No. It doesn't make sense. It does. So the way I want to do it is to kill off the Destructor with the Iron Hand in the second. And the Fire Drakes need to save his massive value attack for the unit with the attachment here. So the unit with the attachment will definitely die. There's no way he can do 8. No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It's adding the damage after the attack was resolved. So first you need to allow me to resolve my attack. I'm trying to explain this to my opponent right now. So the attack needs to be resolved first, and then only the reaction will deal the damage, so he's unable to do shit right now. So he dies, and I decide to strike a Centurion for the Warlock. Warlock dies as well. Now he can strike back with his units. The only thing he can do is to kill off the bikers. Yep, and that's what's happening right now. So the bikers, they're about to die in a second. Yep, both attacks on him, so they die. But now the both units in play are with the Repulsor, Impact, and the Fire Drake ability. I could not really attack, and I would still win the game, I think. So, yeah, Andrew recognized the fact. He takes the units out, and that's it. It's a good game. Really, really great play. Those Harlequins are really tricky. I was really lucky drawing this ambush platform here. Also having a Bravestorm and the Fire Drake Terminator holding this resource planet, it gave me a general boost of money and the cards. So in general, a really good game. A few mistakes I made. The wrong damage assigned, and obviously the princess, the infamous exhaust, which didn't really change the game, but it could question my knowledge about the game, I guess. Anyway, guys, leave the comments below the video. Feel free to see and say whatever you want to. If we could play it differently, if there's anything else we could do, both either from my side or from the Andrew side, how we could play it differently to change the course of the game. Yeah, I think it was an interesting game. I really enjoyed it. So Magnera's full, 5th round, 3 points for me. Really good. Thank you for watching this video, and see you again next time. Hey.